Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, today we have got a banger for you, okay? Magnus vs Hikaru, the 5-time world champ versus the 5-time US champ. The El Clasico in chess, okay? The biggest rivalry of the past 20 years in chess, okay? But there's a twist. There is a bit of a twist. As you can see on your screen, this is not the normal layout of a chessboard. Chess.com, like Title Tuesday, have released a new tournament called Freestyle Friday. So, all the pieces on the back rank are shuffled every game. Okay, there are a few rules, like there must be a dark squared and a light squared bishop still, and there must still be a rook on either side of the king, so you can still castle, just swap places with the rook in this instance. And the pawns have to stay where they are. Okay, you can't have a rook on the second rank or anything like that at the start. Magnus and Hikaru pair up against each other, okay? Both looking for a win. Hikaru with the white pieces, Magnus with the black. They both love this sort of style of gameplay in chess. Do you know why? Because they say, we get to use our brains. None of this opening theory where all these new kids, these new guys on the block can just research an opening and be good for the first 25 moves of the game. There's none of that in this. It's all random. You have to use your brain, as they say. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the game. Okay guys, so like I said, Hikaru has the white pieces, he gets to move first, and you will notice that all the pawns, right, are defended by the pieces behind them. Every single pawn is defended. Now this is actually quite rare when the back pieces are shuffled. Normally you'll have a couple of pawns that are just completely weak, and so they tend to be the targets. But in this case, every pawn is defended. And so normally that would mean you get to just strike in the middle. Right, because you have no weaknesses that you need to defend or anything like that. Hikaru plays this move g3 to start things off. Now this just completely opens up the bishop. I mean, this pawn cannot move now because you will lose your most important piece, the queen. I guess the king's the most important piece. I guess, up for debate, isn't it really? But you would then lose your queen. So Magnus's queen is now stuck for the game, basically. Magnus does the exact same thing to Hikaru. We're just getting a couple copycats now, okay? Both queens are just, they're not doing much, are they? Okay, f4, f5. e4, this is a very committal move by Hikaru, okay? He's just going to take the centre, and it does look like Magnus can maybe play this now, because there's obviously no pin on the queen, because this pawn blocks it. Yeah, I wonder if that is a move. He doesn't play that anyway, he plays the move b5. Same idea, I didn't actually know he did that, but hey ho, same exact idea. We then get d3 and c5, so Magnus striking back in the centre, obviously supported by the... I mean, this is just mental, isn't it? How are you even meant to commentate over this game? What is going on? Like, both bishops are absolute gods, just staring over at this queen. Same in this instance, they're striking in the middle on opposite sides. What is going on? Okay, knight to d2, and then we get d6, which is the first sort of inaccuracy of the game, because of knight e3. It just allows you to strike in the centre. I don't really know why that's even a thing, but hey ho. Hikaru plays bishop to f3. Why is this a bad move? We will never know, okay guys. Knight c6, and then we get our first trade of the game, the first capture of the game, and it happens on the g file, on the f file, by the g pawn. Knight jumps over to e3, pawn push, bishop comes out, and then the knight is sort of spreading. Now normally in a position like this, once you've developed your knights and bishops, you'd be looking at, right, okay, let's castle. I mean, how the hell does that even work, guys? How on earth does that even work? What would happen if you went this way? So you literally just swap places. Or in this, what on earth? Can you just... This is just ridiculous, isn't it? Can you imagine you're playing this over the board and you just do some wizard stuff like this? I'd be looking at my opponent like, mate, what are you doing? How am I meant to write that down? What is that? It's just absolutely mental, isn't it? I mean, how this is even a move, I don't know. Nonetheless, bishop h5. Now it's attacking this rook, and obviously you can't block like this because num, that's a free bishop. Thank you very much. So, Magnus obviously has to move his rook. I wonder if you could just move your rook here. Same sort of move, isn't it, really? I mean, you just But I guess it is better to keep your rook on this file because it's semi-open and Hikaru doesn't have a pawn on this file anymore. That would make sense. Bishop comes back, we get h5. So Magnus just taking space. Is this not just a free pawn now? No, because of this, and then you lose this pawn. Right, that makes sense. We get h3, which is a slight inaccuracy. What did the engine want here? The engine just wanted you to short castle. I have no words, really, to be honest with you. I mean, again, this castling is throwing me off, but we get h3. And then we get this move, bishop f7, which is not looking too ideal. Couldn't tell you why. The eval bar doesn't really care either. It's just ridiculous. c3 and queen to b8, so I guess just putting your queen on a square that isn't being absolutely mauled by this bishop. And I guess you're on the b file now where the pawn's pushing, so it looks pretty natural to me. g4, and then we get a trade-off, which isn't actually very good for Hikaru. Yeah, the eval bar is not liking this position for Hikaru because let's move d5. Magnus misses it though, and he takes again. Hikaru takes with the knight, rook drops back, knight jumps forwards, and then we get this move d5. Such a crushing move. Just taking control of the centre completely. I can't draw arrows, I can't highlight pawns, my mouse is broken. But there is this check with bishop h4. I actually watched Hikaru's recap of this position, right? After this, he thought he was just completely winning. Like, he spent some time, or maybe it wasn't this exact position. Yeah, it was, look. He spends over a minute on this move. So at the moment he's at 1 minute 37, and here he drops down to 36 seconds. He said in his recap, in this position I thought I was just completely winning. I mean, I was just looking for the crushing blow here. The move that was just going to win me the game. Hang on a minute. Oh, that's what, if you're wondering why you can't just take here, it's because you have takes, and then the queen actually can win this pawn on f4. I didn't even see that was undefended, to be honest. My brain is absolutely frazzled. Let's look at this line. So with check, you obviously can't block because then you just do the same thing. Check. Knight takes, and then you're up a piece. So if you give this check, the king would have to jump to c7. Because obviously it can't jump to this square because the bishop is eyeing it up. And then after c7 you have knight to g5, just attacking this bishop, I guess. We then get king b6, bishop g3. I mean, this line is just ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, just look at this, though. This just looks crushing. But it isn't. The eval bar just goes, no, this is equal, completely equal. I mean, Hikaru was literally just saying, like, I thought I was just completely winning. But this is the difference now. You don't have opening theory. You don't have the reliance on the eval bar to let you know you're okay. Like, you can't just gambit a pawn because it's like, well, now I'm down a pawn. I don't know if this works. It's absolutely ridiculous. And, well, these lines show it. Anyway, Hikaru plays knight g5. And then Magnus doesn't believe his bluff. He doesn't believe in the position. He just takes the free pawn. I mean, why wouldn't you? Hikaru then plays bishop e3, attacking the queen, and look at this, is just ridiculous, isn't it? The bishops and the knights defend each other. Look at this little box of death, or semi-box, I guess. Look at this little right angle of death. That's terrifying. Wow. Okay, so Magnus then plays queen f5, just dropping it back out of danger. We then get bishop e2, and then Magnus finds the only move, bishop h5, which maintains his advantage of plus or minus 2 in this case, but plus 2 for Magnus. Just absolutely annihilating this knight. I mean, the rook's going to come over as well, and it's just absolutely crushing. Hikaru plays rook f1, kicking away the queen. Queen drops back. We then get long castle, but it's not a long castle, is it? Because they literally just swap squares. How can we call this long castle? I mean, just look at this. That's supposedly a long castle. Sorry, probably if you got headphones on, that would have not have been very nice to listen to. Knight d4. What the hell is this? Why can't you take? Show me the line. Wait, I don't understand why you move your king here. I don't understand. Oh, because you're in check. This is a discovered check. I don't have audio, so I can't hear the little check noise. Though I do have eyes, there's no real excuse for not seeing that. And then you would just lose that, right? Wow, okay. That is disgusting. But it's an inaccuracy. I thought that looked like a great move. What the hell do I know? Okay, so Hikaru gives this check. Obviously, you can't take with the queen because this rook is staring you down. Eval bar still says it's even. Hikaru's +5 and this is equal. This is ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, chess is just such a hard game. The only move here is for Magnus to play king here, because if you play king here, then you completely cut off the rook on this file, and that would not be ideal. That's what Magnus plays. Engine doesn't like it. Pawn takes pawn, and now because the king is here, there is no check when this pawn takes. So there is no tempo. Magnus does not have this tempo anymore. Hikaru then takes this bishop, which actually isn't the best move. What is the best move? The best move is, wow, bishop to h6. And then we get something like this position. What on earth? King slides over. Check. Takes. Pawn takes. Wow, I mean, this is just ridiculous, isn't it? What on earth? Nonetheless, we don't get that. We get knight to h8. King then slides over, giving this check. Hikaru finds this unbelievable move. Now, the reason you can't come here, let's have a little gander, is because this is check. Take with a knight, you lose your knight, and the game is just pretty crushing because you're down a pawn, and the overwhelming pressure on your king. I mean, look how unsafe this king is. There's a queen, a bishop, a rook on this open file. Ugh. Disgusting. I'd just resign, to be honest. So Hikaru plays king to b1, which is just an absolute joke of a move. I mean, you're just completely blocking your queen. There is now nowhere the queen can go, but it's somehow the best move, and it gives Hikaru an advantage in this position. How does Hikaru have an advantage with a queen that can't move? He's basically down a queen in this position, because Magnus's queen is very, very active. Granted, it's under attack from the knight, but it's still very active. Magnus takes the knight with the rook, and then we get bishop takes on d4. Oh, Magnus needed to find this move. I mean, why wouldn't you play this move? There's real overwhelming pressure on it. I don't know. Who knows? Not me. I'm stupid. I don't understand chess. Hikaru takes on d4. Magnus plays rook here. I guess just setting up this battery on the g file, and you can't really move the knight. Can you? No, the engine does not like it if you move the knight. Where would I move the knight? Maybe like here? Yeah, just absolutely crushing because of this. Wow. So you can't move the knight, but this is a bad move, even though you're putting overwhelming pressure on this dead knight. Guys, I don't understand chess. We'll get rook g1, queen to f5, and in this position, Magnus loses the game. I mean, this isn't even the best move. I mean, Hikaru is winning. But the best move in this position is a4. No one's ever going to find that, are they? The reason is just because you get your queen out to join the party, I guess. But what on earth? What on earth? So, I mean, this looks absolutely crushing to me. I mean, forking the rook and the queen. I mean, even if the game went on, let's say Magnus finds the move queen h3. Do you not just take? No, because of this. Wow. This is why these guys are super GMs and I make content where I hang my queen. That's the difference. So, Hikaru gets a must-needed win in, I think this was round 8, wasn't it? I want to say it was round 8. No, maybe it was round 9, actually. I think it was round 9, because I think Hikaru was on 7 out of 8 going into this, and maybe Magnus was on 8 out of 8. I think that's how it went. So, yeah, Hikaru gives Magnus his first loss of this tournament. This is so much fun to watch, guys. If you haven't been watching this already, it's every Friday, okay? All the top GMs play it. Magnus, Hikaru, Fabiano, you name it, they probably play this. Jan Nepomniachtchi. It's so good, guys. And we're going to be covering this more on the channel, hopefully, if this video does well. So please leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.